My initial thought when first encountering hunters had me in awe of their ominous nature. Moreover, the sheer power of the builds they utilized made me even more shrouded in mystery. But to truly understand how to enter the mind of a hunter, I had to refer to someone with intimate knowledge of them, someone you all know too well, NGN Gaming. Together, we've decided to give you a glimpse into their arsenal.
Hunters have always been a mysterious entity, but today we're going to demystify them. It's hard to comprehend how they dominate so effortlessly in combat, their sudden appearances, the precision of their skills, and how they overwhelm you with sheer power and unpredictability. The epic theme builds are back, and this time it's hunter focused. I've collaborated with Identity to bring you two deadly hunter themed builds, and one of them features a brand new named weapon talent, a talent that carries history reaching all the way back to the Division 1. Hunters are symbols of chaos and fear, a faction that thrives in the unknown. Every encounter is a question mark. What abilities will they use? What build will they bring? But what if you could harness their power? What if you could wield not one, but two of their deadliest playstyles? To embody a hunter, you need to go beyond the ordinary. So it's not just simply a DPS build. It isn't just a skill build. It's something special. So let's get straight into it.
Today is a special day. I'm honored to have collaborated with NGN Gaming to bring you this epic double feature. That's one reason today is special. The other, I honestly don't know which build I'm having the most fun with, because both have the combat prowess to truly embody a hunter. One utilizes disillusionment to confuse enemies, giving you an immediate tactical advantage. The other allows you to turn a seemingly impossible situation, one that looks like certain death, into an opportunity. The Exodus gloves couldn't be a better representation of that. But don't worry, I'll break everything down because, as I said, these builds are unique. The first build was the hardest to put together. As you can see, it's a hardwired build, and these already come rolled as a skill tier, which is a challenge since DPS attributes rarely roll on these pieces. I first tried crafting them but kept getting skill damage or status effects, which felt like a waste of resources after a while. Then I went into countdown, but didn't have much luck there either. I only got one piece that already had the attribute I needed. But here's the thing, hardwired is meant for a skill build, but I flipped it. The goal is to roll everything into weapon core with headshot damage attributes. If headshot damage isn't available, then status effects is the next best thing, as it will increase their duration significantly. And here's what hardwired does. Feedback loop. Whenever you use or cancel a skill, your other skill's cooldown is automatically reduced by 30 seconds, while increasing total skill and repair by 10% for 20 seconds. Now, this is perfect for a DPS build since whatever skill you'll have equipped will have a 30+ second cooldown. This will allow you to have your skills readily available at all times. Now you may be thinking, why would you even want to use skills on a DPS build? They'll deal no damage. Well, the purpose is to use a skill that offers an immense tactical advantage. So let me get into the skills right now and then we'll come back. The Blinder Firefly is what I'm using. And just look at that insane cooldown time, 37.2 seconds. With hardwired, I'll have as many Blinder Fireflies as I desire within 10 seconds. With hardwired, I can spam it every 10 seconds because feedback loop triggers every 10 seconds, making that the true cooldown. I'm using the Crusader shield to activate feedback loop because the shield has no cooldown. You can pull it out and put it away instantly. It's there if you need it, but its real function is to reset the Firefly cooldown. With status effects stacked on this build, the blind duration is 7 seconds in PvE and 3 seconds in PvP. This is insanely powerful in both. Now don't try this in solo legendary. It's more beneficial as a support DPS, and it literally is a nuisance in groups. You continually immobilize enemies back to back, allowing you and your team to easily clear battlefields. I mean, look at how crazy this is in Countdown, and man, Heroic is a cakewalk solo. And this is what I mean. It has an element of disillusionment and confusion coupled with DPS and an element of mystery that caters to the lore of a hunter, being that he can disappear at a moment's notice. But the blinder firefly is not the only source that will blind enemies. And here's where even more damage comes into the picture. It's the chest piece. Hasbro guards named chest piece called Cherished, with 13% headshot damage for one piece, status effects and headshot damage rolled for attributes, and finally the amazing talent, Perfect Trauma. This applies blind to an enemy hit in the head and bleed to an enemy hit in the chest. The cooldown is only 20 seconds. This brings me to the primary weapon I'm using, the goalie, the weapon with a brand new name talent 𝐿GN spoke of in the intro. This talent has history, going all the way back to the Division 1. It was called Distracted, only available on the exotic urban MDR. It dealt damage to enemies affected by status, exactly what the goalie does with On Point, and this amplifies weapon damage by 20%. It's an FAL variant, and these have a very high base damage overall. And because it's an AR is why I have a Fenris backpack that I can use to scale the damage even more. The talent is Wicked, which increases my damage by 18% for applying a status effect, which I'm always going to be doing on this build. And here's a quick tip. Whenever you see increased weapon damage, that's separate from amplified weapon damage. With the 20% amp damage from On Point, you'll want to stack as much increased weapon damage as possible, so that damage can be amplified more. Now, there was some controversy surrounding the On Point talent. Players were saying that 20% is too low because we already have talents like Eyeless, Sadist, or Ignited that offer 30% amp damage. So why even bother with On Point's 20? Well, let me give you a reason. Versatility. If you noticed, Perfect Trauma has two separate statuses that will proc after shooting the corresponding areas, the body or the head. If I had, for example, Eyeless equipped and activated Bleed when hitting the enemy in the chest, then I would not get that 30% bonus, especially if the blind headshot proc was already on cooldown. It'd be a waste. So I'd rather have 20% amplified damage at all times with On Point. This way, I don't have to worry about anything except the damage that I'm dishing out. For my secondary, I'm using the Scorpio, because why not? All those statuses and at max stack, the enemies take 20% additional damage from all sources. Forget about it. Now, the stats are mostly headshot, but this build's main source of damage is raw weapon damage amplified. I'm using the sharpshooter specialization for more precision and weapon handling. Plus, it has blind grenades. With everything else combined here, you have a force to be reckoned with. I'm trying to make this description go as quick as possible, but I don't want to miss anything. That being said, it's the end of this first build breakdown. On to the next one. I hope you're ready for this. I'm truly excited for this one because it embodies a hunter from start to finish. Even on the name itself, I'm using the Hunter's Fury gear set. Now let me just say, the Exodus gloves are what helps to bring this narrative to life. These new exotic gloves came with the latest season, Burden of Truth, and they are way better than people give them credit for. Its talent is called Smoke Screen. On armor break, drop a smoke bomb at your feet, concealing you from enemies for 3 seconds, and the cooldown is 40 seconds. You know what happens when you're taken out of combat, right? Your armor immediately comes back, so you can reposition, get behind cover, or push forward to delete enemies. And with how I have this build's main damage set up, you will easily dispatch almost anything with just 1 or 2 shots. This build brought the Scorpio back to glory. When it got nerfed, no one really used it as a primary source for damage. It's now used only for utility and support, but now it's a certified damage dealer. The talent is called Septic Shock. Shooting targets applies stacks of venom which last for 10 seconds, and increasing stacks adds more severe debuffs to the target. Poison, Disorient, Shock, and at 9 stacks, targets take 20% additional damage from all sources, as I said before. But here's the crazy part. Hunter's Fury's Apex Predator will amplify the damage of an enemy within 15 meters by 20%. Once you kill that enemy, it disorients other enemies within 5 meters and amplifies weapon damage by 5% up to 5 times. That's 25% more, which is absolutely insane. But wait, it gets even deeper because this chest piece is how you delete enemies in 1 or 2 shots. Make sure you have Providence equipped for the headshot damage because it'll be hard to reach the threshold you need to maximize the full potential of this talent. Here's what it does. Headhunter. After killing an enemy with a headshot, your next weapon hit to any area of the body, by the way, deals an additional 125% of that killing blow's damage. Remember what I said about amplified versus increased damage? Well, that is a ton of increased damage. But But if you have over 100% headshot damage, then this damage is raised to a 1250% cap. And that is the full potential of this build I was referring to, which is why Providence is important. Unless you have a way to reach that threshold while using Chain Killer. That's the named version of Headhunter. Now the attributes you want to roll on Hunter's Fury are headshot damage with headshot damage mods. If you look at my stats, I'm just over, which is perfect. So I figured for my secondary I'd use a rifle, with Rifleman as the talent for more awesome weapon damage there as well. One thing I forgot to mention about the Exodus gloves and its synergy with this build is the firewall specialization. Because on Armor Break, the firewall has something called Fiery Response. This sets enemies on fire within 5 meters, the absolute perfect tactical counter combined with Exodus. But that brings me to the end of both of these builds, and I think I covered everything. Tell me, I'd like to know, if you were to design a hunter themed build, how would you make it? Please share below. And there's one more thing I'd like you to do before you go. If you're hyped about these builds, then comment Hunter below. Let me know you made it here. And if you did, you're a GOAT. Anyways, that'll do it for this one. Let me know what you think of it down below in the comment section. And if you liked this video, like it. And don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. I'll see you in the next one. Be right out.